Don't touch that dial or that dick. Because we're now in Techno-Dooker. Comfort shows be damned to an absent Mephisto. We're looking to the future with something new. Wandavision. Wandavision is the beginning of Phase 4! The MCU. Altered from the movie it could have been if they had just tightened up the fucking pacing. This is the first Marvel Disney Plus miniseries and the precursor to Doctor Strange 2. And really all of Phase 4 multiversary. It was a good play to focus on Wanda Olsen and Paul Vision, as they are two incredibly important characters that are constantly sidelined for quippy hero 1 through 7. Elizabeth Maximoff steps into her big budget lead with ease, while Bettany's an old pro. Olsen does the heavy lifting. But fuck him, because even after everything, Vision is still a dull, dirty robot with no control over his origin, his fate, or the amount of elbows I'd use to split his ass. So we're left with a prop that barely grows, and he doesn't give a fuck-a-doodle-doo about them kids. Neither did the audience. But this was really Wanda's story about overcoming grief and the growth from there. And the show succeeds in that aspect. What is grief if not love? Wanda is the big bad scarlet bitch they've been hinting at for years. But we all know the true highlight was Kathryn Hahn. Perfectly cast as the surprise late game villain. As surprising as casting. I suspect that she put the late game acting runes around the set because no one could touch her. Just kidding. She don't need them. I could do the rest of the review on the goddess that is Kathryn Hahn, but we've got other topics to cover with an ether-soaked drag, like I've been 3 times this week. I need to stop going to Walmart after 10. Let's look at all the Ralph boners they pulled to the near climax. And then yo magic dust into the other direction. Wait, commercials were clever. Now moving on. The concept and format of this show opened itself up to so many unique ways to tell a story, and they drastically underutilized it. They worked the why into Wanda's character believably enough. It still doesn't erase a handful of episodes being nothing but filler, save for 3 to 5 minutes. Old sitcom tropes are played out. So, sitting and watching an episode where they hit every worn out beat without deviation isn't funny, isn't clever. And since they save all of Wanda's development for the penultimate episode, ultimately making it pointless. You're just sitting around for almost 30 minutes waiting for it to get weird. And when it does, the weird doesn't get weird enough. And I know weird. And it isn't subtle enough to make rewatchability rewarding. And as soon as they've ditched the format that they've barely tapped into, it returns big to the same punch damn thing we've been watching for 13 years. Energy! Let's wind down, because I lost the time stone up my ass and I don't know when it's coming out. But I won that bet and I'm gonna keep winning every time I win. Yeah! Wandavision is serviceable. And if you love the Marvel formula, you're not gonna find a problem here. It hits the nostalgia, the performances are good, and the villain is underdeveloped. In this case, though, she leaves you wanting more. And you get an action scene. But if you're an idiot sap whore like me and thought to yourself, hey, maybe they'll take this chance to take a risk, you'll be let down. The miniseries is safe, under the guise of being different. And while it is a mixed bag that I'm being harder on than it deserves, I pose you this question. Is anyone still even talking about WandaVision? Even during its run, everyone's focus was on terrible fan theories about who's gonna show up. And it was always someone more popular than the stars on the show. And then they complain about the anticlimactic nature of the show, focusing on characters that are gonna be important in stories later on the line, compared to gratuitous cameos. Children want all the candy, and none of the razor blades. But hey, we'll talk about Wanda again next year in relation to Doctor Strange. And don't you forget it! Love that line.